Okay, let's talk Jerry Jones versus Roger Goodell. Jerry Jones stood up to Roger Goodell. I love that he stood up to Roger Goodell. I love that he said to Roger Goodell, you are doing an awful job effectively as commissioner. I put a poll question up this morning, and it's rare that the results of poll questions really surprise me. I thought Roger Goodell would have more support than he actually does. I asked, do you think, a simple question, do you think that Roger Goodell has done a good job as commissioner? He's making $40 million a year. He just signed a $200 million contract. Is Roger Goodell doing a good job? 20,000 of you nearly have voted. And you are saying by an 85% margin that you do not think Roger Goodell is doing a good job. I am on Jerry Jones's side here in this great dispute. I think Roger Goodell was wrong to suspend Ezekiel Elliott. I think he made a poor decision, and I think it's indefensible based on the evidence. I think Roger Goodell's decision to begin the personal conduct policy in general and conduct all of these independent investigations also is indefensible. I don't think there's any way to say that was a solid decision. I think the way that Roger Goodell responded to Colin Kaepernick's protest was the way that a loser would respond to this protest. I thought that it was a really poor decision. And so I think that Roger Goodell has not done a good job as commissioner of the league. I think that just about everything Roger Goodell has done, I could have done, and an average intelligent NFL fan could have done. What Roger Goodell walked into, the benefit that Roger Goodell walked into more than anything else, was the rise of fantasy football, which led to an explosion of overall NFL ratings. Fantasy football going onto the internet with Yahoo, ESPN, CBS, everybody else, made the average fan care much more about the NFL than they otherwise would have. Fantasy sports, I believe, has peaked and has begun its decline. I'm one of those people. I was on the upswell of fantasy sports back in 1999, playing when for the first time they were available online, and I've given it up. I've just gotten busy. I don't enjoy it as much. I'd rather gamble on games. I don't want to make up a fake team. I don't want to have to worry about setting my lineup. I enjoy much more gambling on games than I do having a fake fantasy football team. I think a lot of guys are like me. I think fantasy football has peaked. I think the number of people who are really excited about getting their guys together and putting together a league and everything else, I think it's peaked. And I think that's a part of why television ratings are down. I think the biggest reason television ratings are down is pretty straightforward. I think it's because Roger Goodell couldn't handle the Colin Kaepernick protest. And as a result, he alienated a substantial number of people who are the baseline, most regular NFL fans. And I've been talking about this for a long time. I think you're also going to see this in terms of what the Carolina Panthers sell for. I read Darren Ravel's story today. Darren Ravel said the Tennessee Titans tried to put 30% of the franchise on the market, and they were hoping that it was going to get a $1.5 billion valuation. They were hoping that somebody was going to offer $500 million for 30% of the Tennessee Titans. Instead, the biggest offer they got was $300 million, which would have valued the entire franchise at $900 million. I think the NFL values have peaked. If I were an NFL owner right now, I think it's a good time to sell. I don't foresee good things happening for the NFL in the years ahead. I think we've hit peak NFL. I think you're going to see that with the Carolina Panthers franchise. I'm intrigued to see what it actually ends up selling for. The only way that's going to be different is if really rich dudes basically decide that an NFL franchise is the equivalent of like a Monet that they want to hang on their wall. They just want to own an NFL franchise to be able to brag that they own it, because I think the business behind owning an NFL franchise is not justifying the overall prices that they're running for.